My name is Adria Rivera. I'm joined here today by Dr. Bill Hardgrave, the Provost at Auburn University. Dr. Hardgrave, thank you for sitting down with me.
Hey, good morning, AJ. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Dr. Hardgrave, you serve as the Chief Academic Officer for Auburn University, and you work closely with all of the departments. As we begin this semester, what is your message to students and to faculty?
Well, the message to students and faculty, we started back in the summer is we want things to be as normal as possible, but knowing that they're not normal. And what I mean by that is, we intend to deliver a quality education regardless of how we deliver that. And we know that the modalities, the term that we use on how we describe the way in which we deliver education has changed a little bit, but it's the same faculty with the same content. And we're the faculty are doing a great job and doing the best they can to deliver a great education. And on our student side, to be flexible, to be agile, to be resilient, which they are, but also a message that I've been trying to carry the last a few weeks as we started the semester is really the active engagement of our students. And, happy to drill down on that some more, but that's something that's really, really important. In this time where we're, the density of the campus, we try to keep it spread out, and we have more classes that are spending time online, even portions of a class online. We really want our students to be engaged in their learning experience, that active learning, but also to get to know people. It's especially if you're taking an online class, it's easy, right, to be like what you and I, we're on the screen here, but it's easier when you are maybe in the classroom or maybe when you get some study groups. We're trying to do things like that to get the students really feeling that sense of connection that we know that they have and want with Auburn University.
So with students being, mostly online, what are some of the ways that they can engage?
Yeah, so one of the things that we, just as a simple example, right? Let's say that a student has what we call a synchronous online class, which means it's delivered live, right? And let's say that you have a history class that is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 o'clock. Well, that's online. Well, that classroom and that time are reserved for that class. So what we're asking the faculty to do and asking the students is, hey, have the students who want to come to the classroom, and they'll all be in the classroom. Yes, they'll be learning online, but you're in the same classroom, you're on the same Zoom at the same time. It's a way to get to know those around you. You're more likely to ask questions, have conversations with others in the class about the material. So that's just one simple example of what we're trying to do to get students actively engaged in their learning process. Now, for some students, they will learn better really sitting alone, concentrating, maybe even having where they could go back and watch the video again. And that's great, but for many others, they learn better when they're surrounded by people. So we're trying to accommodate all those different learning styles.
What percentage of the classes right now have some kind of in-person component? If you just give me an estimate on that.
Yeah, so when we announced on August 1st, when we loaded actually into the system, put it out there, 70% of the class sections had an in-person component. Now that varied though a little bit by the college and by the level. Some of the bigger lectures, and you think about especially at the freshman and sophomore level, some of those bigger sections where it really is pure lecture, those went online, and those are the easier ones to do that, right? If you think about, AJ, I'm sure, in your freshman year, you probably sat through some lectures, right, in a big auditorium, and you were probably thinking, I don't actually have to be here listening to this. I could do this online. Well, those transitioned to online. So, so we probably have some areas that are more so than others, but across the board, we saw that from a typical fall semester, about 70% have an in-person component, which means it's delivered blended, or what we call high flex, or just traditional face-to-face as we think about it.
So we have received reports of at least one class in the English department, I do believe, changed from being a blended class to being now fully online. What are some of the reasons why a class would move from being blended to online?
Well, first of all, that would be up to the faculty and the department to make that decision. And one of the guides that we provided, for the faculty is, look, you decide how best to deliver this course, as long as it meets the learning objectives of the course. I don't know about the particular one you're talking about, but I could see a situation, for example, of where maybe you got started with blended, and the idea was maybe to meet one time a week and one time online. But after meeting the first few times, maybe even the students said, you know what, we really like the online part. Can we just continue that throughout the semester? That could be one reason. It could be that, hey, let's do the first few weeks online, and then we'll be more face to face. It could be that, look, you were going to be blended, but we're going to be online, but we're going to have some study sections with a GA or so. I don't know. I'm just, there's so many different reasons or ways. But AJ, I will tell you that we've also seen the opposite happen in some courses as well, where they started off and thinking maybe we would be blended, and we end up being more face-to-face than blended. So we're seeing we're seeing some movements, and that's to be expected as the faculty and the students get the semester started as to, hey, how's the best way to deliver this?
If there is a significant decrease in cases, specifically in the Lee County, Auburn area, is there potential that we see a larger percentage of our classes moving to being more in person towards the end of the semester?
Absolutely. In fact, that was one of the things that we ask our faculty to be prepared for. A couple of different things. One is we ask them to be prepared for, hey, if we had to pivot like we did in the spring, let's be prepared. We've asked every faculty member to create what we call syllabus B, which is that second syllabus that would kick in if we went remote. But we also ask them to be prepared, if you're teaching online, to do the opposite. Look, if this thing, AJ, man, if this thing clears up and the cases get down to near nothing, we will pivot back to our normal operations, and that would be a fantastic thing. And you know what, all faculty and students want that, right? So I'd love nothing more, AJ, than to get us there. We're gonna have to get our students to do a little bit better job of following the safety protocols to lessen the spread. But I'd be happy if we could get there, AJ.
I know that prior to the semester starting, there was a lot of professors that went to social media through Twitter or some other social media outlet, and speaking out against in-person classes and being in favor of online. Was that a contributing factor in determining which classes were online versus which classes were in person?
No, not at all. And there were some faculty who expressed some concern, and that's to be expected, right? This is a very high stress, high uncertainty environment, and anytime you have uncertainty, people are scared, and I completely get it. But that was why we didn't force anybody to teach face to face. If somebody didn't feel comfortable teaching face to face, they had lots of options from a faculty side. One is, if the course was conducive to going online and the department agreed that you can meet the course objectives by being online, then go online. Or in some cases, the faculty member could say, you know what, I'm going to take the fall off from teaching, and I'll double up my teaching in the spring or next summer. Or maybe just look at taking a medical leave. So there were lots of avenues for faculty to take if they really didn't feel comfortable in the classroom. Now, and AJ, by the way, we had several students and parents who contacted us, said, look, we're not comfortable sending, the student coming back to campus. Are there online options? And that was also a driving factor as well, is that we wanted to make sure that students had those options in most of the cases. Now, we couldn't guarantee it across the board, but we have enough online classes that we know some students made that decision to take those courses online because they didn't feel comfortable coming to campus.
And just to wrap this up, I've seen a rumor floating around online that I want to give you the opportunity to respond to and to address. So the rumor is that departments have been told prior to the semester starting that there would potentially be budget cuts if too many professors opted for online classes. Now, like I said, it's just a rumor I heard. I want to give you the opportunity to respond to that.
100% false.
All right. Well, that's glad to hear.
Yeah, we AJ, just absolutely false. We hear rumors of things all the time, and I can guarantee you that one is false.
And one thing that you hinted out throughout this conversation, how has the communication been between the various departments?
It's interesting, AJ. And look, this is the field that you're in, right? I mean, communication is your life right now, and communications is fickle. You can communicate too much, you can communicate not enough, you can communicate the wrong things. When we were in this, one of the things that my office tried to do is every week send out some communication to the faculty about what's going on, what we're seeing. Then and we did that via email, and then I started supplementing that with these little 2 or 3 minute videos that I would send out to the faculty, just talking about a particular topic. Since then we really worked on the A Healthier You plan. And, it's a very comprehensive plan. I'm assuming you went out and taken a look at it. But one of the things that we try to do is as questions come in, we had a Senate meeting yesterday, and there were good questions there. Well, one of the things we'll do is we'll grab those questions that were asked there, because if one person has a question, most likely other people do as well. We'll take that, we'll answer that question, we'll put it out on the FAQ page. And that's another way that we're trying to communicate. So we try to put as much information as possible, knowing that, again, people get inundated with emails and different things coming out from our Auburn News. So we just try different methods and hope that we get the message through. And there are some things that, like yesterday at the Senate meeting, I heard some questions asked that I thought we had already answered. But if people are still asking them, that means we haven't done a good job of answering them. So I've made a note, and we're going to go back through and make sure that our communication is clear on some of these really important points.
In an email that was sent out yesterday, that was stating that in-person events of more than that all in-person events were to not have more than 50 participants through the beginning of October, I do believe.
Yeah.
Is that in response to what we have seen in the past week of students being back on campus, and specifically the increase in crowds downtown in the bars? Is that a response to that?
Partially. One of the things that we've seen, and you're talking about the email from Bobby Woodard, the Senior Vice President for Student Affairs, that went out.
Yes, sir.
So we have really been closely monitoring what's happening across the country. And, several other universities started at the same time we did. Some started even a few days before. And we saw, and we watched very closely what happened at North Carolina and Notre Dame and Michigan State and North Carolina State, and how those opened and then almost immediately shut down, or decided, like Michigan State decided, like I think maybe the day before classes started, that, what, we've got too many issues, we're going to go all online. We don't want that here. I mean, the students don't want that. We don't want that. The faculty don't want that. So how do we protect against that? Well, we've spent all summer, AJ, working on the protocols and the things that we need to do to create as safe as environment as possible. We created all the learning modalities so that people could get the classes the way they want them, or deliver the education to keep our faculty safe. But we also know that as students came back, some of the safety protocols were not followed, and we were seeing situations where it could create a super spreader event or events that really create a domino effect of getting people quarantined. So that really is a response to a lot of things, what we see externally as well as internally. And we know that if we can keep those crowds smaller, if we can keep people adhering to the face coverings and the social distancing, we know that we can maintain as safe an environment as we possibly can. And AJ, we want to keep this campus open. We want to have a normal semester. And to the question you asked earlier, I'd love it. I'd love nothing more than to actually have to remove all these protocols and go back to normal operations and full in person. But we've got some work to do to get there. But we want to maintain that campus. We want to keep it open. We want to keep you students here all semester long.
Well, that is all that I have for you. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, AJ, I just appreciate what you and others are doing across campus. Get the word out. I would just once again ask our students to take also not just responsibility about the safety protocols. We definitely need that, and we must have that. But also take an active involvement in your learning. Find ways to get engaged. If you feel the need to, right? Again, some people are going to learn by sitting in their apartment or their on-campus housing, but others need that engagement. And find ways to get engaged. Ask your professor. Contact my office. We'll be happy to give some guidance there as well. We just want students to have that great experience, and we know that great experience comes with the camaraderie and the socialization among other students. Very concerned about that learning environment. Also concerned about the mental health of our students. This is a very we've talked a lot about faculty and what they do, but let's talk about students for just a second, if I may. I mean, it's a very stressful time on all of our students. Again, we're in a situation we've never dealt with before. And for some students, the feeling of isolation or feeling quarantined in their own homes is a very mentally taxing situation. And I just encourage students, if they're having any feelings of mental stress at all, contact us. Let us help. We have mental health professionals here, and we want to make sure that we work with our students to get through this very taxing time.